In this video, we're going to be talking about the knowing state, often referred to as the sabbath, so stay tuned.
Hey lovelies, welcome back to the Manifestation Sisters community. We're your Manifestation Sisters. I'm Tia.
And I'm Leah.
And we are helping you master your mind to manifest your desires. Before we jump into the video, make sure you're signed up to the email list to know what that special something is. As we always say, if you want to go to your next level with one-to-one coaching, with more support and accountability, link is in the description box below, and our digital affirmation bundles to help you with your mental diet. Let's jump in. We always say, return to the inner knowing of that which you want being done. Neville Goddard refers to this as the sabbath, and then in the more modern age of manifestation and it occurring, we refer to it as the knowing state. And a lot of people ask us, Tia, Leah, how do I get into that knowing state? How do I live from the end, from the wish fulfilled, whatever way you want to say it, of knowing what I want is done? When you reach the knowing state, when you reach the sabbath, you can use it interchangeably. Essentially, it is complete mental rest. You've come to, you don't need to do anything, you don't need to try to force things. Internally, you've built a belief. We know a belief is just a thought you continue to think. You've built a belief, an inner knowing of trust and belief in that which you want and knowing that it's going to happen. Despite 3D circumstances, despite what may be going on externally, despite the situation that you're currently in, internally, you believe, you have faith, and you are trusting. You might have doubt, you return back to that belief of knowing what it is that you want is done.
Exactly. And it's okay to have doubts. Like, I think it's a very human, it's a normal part of us. And I've had it on my own journey, and I know Tia's had it. If you felt like you struggle with imposter syndrome or anything like that, I think it's one of these things when we're always elevating and we're growing to next levels. Like, it's very normal to have our doubts, but we're able to return ourselves back to that normal knowing state of, okay, I've had a little bit of doubt, but no, I know this is mine, I know it's done. We want it to get so simple as, like, you order something off Amazon, you know it's coming, right? You are very relaxed, you're not constantly tracking for the delivery, like, you know it's getting delivered tomorrow. And that's where, like, we want to get with our manifestations. We want to know that we have the desire for it. Yeah, we might need to do tools and techniques to help us get into the state and be from that version, but we get to the point where we're just like, we decide, no, this is done, that's it, I've done enough, I know this is coming to me. And that's what the knowing state is like. You get to the point where you're just like, you know what, I've done enough, I'm actually okay, I'm going to live my life. If the doubt comes up, okay, no, I know it's done, I know I've done enough, I'm right on track. And it's like I said, it's as simple as, you know, you placing your order on Amazon and knowing it's coming tomorrow.
Exactly. And I think you just touched on a big thing, because your knowing state, why we say self-concept is so important, because to get to that place of inner knowing is by building your inner belief, by changing your conceptions about yourself to the point where you think a thought over and over again through repetition. It comes a belief, it comes a normal way of how you think and perceive your reality. So what that will look like, I always give this example of a person that dominantly has the state of abundance, or the person that dominantly has the state of inner security. They might have insecure moments, or a person that has a lot of money might have a moment where they're thinking from lack. However, because they have built up that dominant belief system, that dominant inner state of knowing, they can return themselves back to that belief. So what that will look like, as an example of a secure person might have a moment of doubt where they're doubting their ability, they're living from imposter syndrome, they're feeling a bit insecure within themselves. That's fine to have that moment, but because they have built up a dominant belief, a dominant inner knowing, a self-concept, a belief system around security and the conceptions of themselves, it's a lot easier for themselves to return themselves back to that inner knowing. And when they get back to that place of knowing they're the shit, knowing that they're secure, knowing that what's meant for them will happen, then regardless of their 3D, regardless of that moment of doubt, they're dominantly returning themselves back to that state, back to that inner belief system of money always comes to me, of everything's always working out for me despite their 3D circumstance.
And I think that's how you do it. Like, you've built the belief so much so that you're able to return yourself back to that normal dwelling pace, the normal dwelling pace of, you know, I might have this doubt, but it's okay, I return myself back. But when it comes to, like, our manifestations and things like that, like, we're coming from a place of, like, it's over there and we're here and we're trying to get to it.
Yeah.
But rather than just being, because we get who we're being, right? So you working on self-concept and getting yourself to the point where you're like, do you know what? I'm feeling good within myself. I can trust that everything I want is done. We can, you know, keep returning ourselves back to everything's okay. Everything is working out. Like, we don't have to be afraid to then live our life as we would having the thing that we want, because if you had the thing that you wanted, it would be very normal and natural for you to have it, and that's where we want to get to. And I gave this analogy in a video before, like before I got the car that I wanted, I was very excited about getting this car. I was living the end of having this car. I was test driving cars, and then I got to the point where like I know the car is coming, like, and how it unfolded was, you know, I was test driving cars, and then my mum happened to send me this car, and it didn't even have a picture, and I was like, okay, we're going to see it. And then I saw it and I was like, that's the car, right? And then I got this car and I was driving this car and I was very excited driving my car at first, but now it's normal to me. You know, I wanted the car at first. I loved the car. It was a newer car. It was really nice to drive. I was like, woohoo, this is great. I was feeling the feelings before I got it, and now I have it. It's just like very normal to me. Like I don't get in it like woohoo every time, because like I've had it for long enough now that it's very normal for me. So I was very much in that knowing state of like, this is mine, it's done. And now, you know, we want to get to that point, like I said, like you feel excitement for it at first, but then it's very normal, natural to you. Like it's just like breathing, like to have this thing.
Yeah. And that normalness, that naturalness occurs when you're in the Sabbath, when you're in that knowing state. Like Leah says, she knows the car's hers. So she don't constantly feel like she has to keep doing tools or techniques or invoking the feeling to become the version of her that has the car that she currently has. It's exactly the same with you in your manifestation. Reaching the Sabbath, reaching the knowing state is a state of like naturalness. It's a state of internal confidence of that which I want is done. And no matter how you do it, no matter how you get there, because there's no linear process, the more you keep saturating, the more you keep returning, or when you get to the point of decision is when ultimately you have trained yourself into the naturalness, the internal state, the dominant state of being the version that has what it is that you want.
And I think it's a gradual process. Like Tia said, everyone's journey is different. Everyone's journey is individuals. There's things that I've wanted that I've had to really get myself into the state of feeling like what it feels like to have it and thinking from that version of me that has it. And there's other things that I've wanted. I could just be like, no, it's mine. I'm not going to really worry about this. I was very in the natural, normal state of having it already and knowing that, you know, I was going to get the thing. So sometimes it depends on the resistance we have to the things that we're manifesting and, you know, the importance and the weight that we're putting on these things and the meaning we're giving to it. So I think like everyone's journey is individual and the things that we want is individual, but the more we practice this and the more we start to build our beliefs and the more we start to get into the states of no, I get to have this because it's my desire, and what I desire I get to have because I say I want it, and that's it. Essentially it's just knowing it's yours, trusting in the unseen, having faith in the unseen. You know, faith is like seeing the thing, and so just knowing it's yours, being in that knowing state, allowing yourself to rest in that Sabbath and have that mental rest of, do you know what, it's all working out. Like you just feel different in your body. Like you feel calm, you feel cool, you feel very like satisfied. You just get to a point of contentment. Yeah, you really do, and you're just like, everything's okay. Like you do get to those points within yourself. Sometimes we're so used to doing all the things, but then we get to the point where we're like, I don't need to do all the things. I'm feeling all right, you know. And I think that's when you know you're in that knowing state and in that Sabbath.
I agree.
And also getting into that no Sabbath state, I think we just reach it. Like sometimes you don't even realise that you're in it, and then you're very calm, you're very cool, and you're like, wow, like I'm not trying to do all the things at the moment. And it doesn't matter where you are in your journey, or if you're worrying like you're not in the Sabbath, you're not in the knowing right now. It's okay. Like I said, sometimes we do have doubts with the things that we're manifesting, but we keep turning ourselves back to the state of like, no, I know this is done, I know it's coming, it's mine, or whatever. And like you just know within yourself. I think sometimes when you're feeling a lot calmer, you're not getting triggered as much, like you're not like having as many intrusive thoughts, you're feeling more relaxed with things, like you're enjoying the reality more. Like there's different ways to tell sometimes when you're in that Sabbath, but it's just a very natural, normal part of like the evolution of the journey.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I always share that story of building trust in my self-concept, because as we know, that was something I had to shift. I never got to the point where I was like, oh my God, I trust now. Oh my God. Yeah. You just live from that perspective.
Yeah,
you live from that naturalness, that lens of no longer preempting distrust, no longer preempting
worst case
for worst case scenario.
Yeah.
It's never really a thing where I look back and I'm like, oh my God. So I think whatever stage you're at, it's fine. Sometimes you reach the point where you're like, I just know, and it's done. And sometimes you reach the point where you don't have that yet current inner knowing, but you know you're on your way, and you keep returning. I think it's all relative, and then you get to the point where you look back and you're like, actually, I am there.
I was doing
fine. I am doing fine.
And sometimes we don't know these things as well, like until after the fact as well,
like
until we reverse engineer it,
yeah.
like how actually calm and cool we were and content with certain things. You know, sometimes, like I said, we put more weight on certain things than others.
And that's why we always say, give everything good meaning.
Yeah.
Make everything relative and empowering to you in your journey, because you're the one assigning the meaning to every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of assuming worst case scenario, assume best case scenario, assume that everything is unfolding in your favour, and that will be your truth.
Yeah. Exactly. So this was just a video just to tap on like the knowing state or sabbath, whatever interchangeably used in both.
We're going to wrap up the video here, guys. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. We really appreciate you guys and our growing community. As we said at the beginning of the video, if you want to know all the things that we are launching, this special thing that we are launching, then make sure you're signed up to our email list in the link in the description box below. If you want the support from myself and Leah, you want to get started activating and becoming and being that version of you, we have Next Level You one-to-one coaching, and we also have affirmation bundles to help you shift your mental diet around your relationships or money. So all of that is in the description box in the link below, and we'll see you in the next video.